YouTube. Today it is Lindy and Bart coming to you from the Bauji apartment, and today I thought I would make a video talking about my healthcare experience in small town China. And again, I emphasize small town China. This may be different if you go to a bigger city, but I'm just going to tell you my stories of hospitals and healthcare here. The first thing you do when you need to go to the hospital is you show up and you have to fill out a form with your name, your age, your sex, blah, 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 and you get this little card. And this is my card. No clue what it says, but every time you go to the hospital, you use this to pay. In the front, there's a thing where you go and you can put money on it, and you get your card, and you can ask at the front desk. There's like a reception area, like, hey, I have a headache, or hey, like, I haven't been able to go to the bathroom for the last couple of days, or I hurt myself, please help me, what do I do? And they'll tell you where to go, like, oh, this is the room on this floor, and you go to the floor and you just walk in. Privacy is not a thing there. At the one hospital, because there's two hospitals in my town, at the older hospital, the doors aren't even like knock doors, they're cloth doors, and you just kind of open it. And I've had people walk in while I was talking to the doctor, and I have walked in on people while talking to the doctor, and privacy is not a thing here. At the other newer hospital, it's a little better, but you say, hey, I'm here, I need to see the doctor, this is like for whatever is the reason, and you sit in the waiting room, and there's like a big board that's electronic, and when it's your turn, it'll say like your full name, sex, and age on the board. So like, yeah, we're talking about you. And I know in America with HIPAA that's not gonna fly, but that's just how they do it here. And then you go in and your doctor swipes lovely card, and that's how you pay for your appointment. You tell them what's wrong, you tell them what the problem is, and they either tell you what to do or they write up a little like prescription for you, and there's just a little pharmacy downstairs where you go and you get it filled. And I have been to the hospital for two separate things. The first thing was back during Chinese New Year. I went back to America to go to Hawaii, and while I was in Hawaii, I was only there for like 30 hours. It was kind of dumb. I fell off Lahi Lahi Point and broke my foot in 5 places, and it kind of sucked, but due to personal issues, I couldn't stay in America. I had to come back to China with a broken foot. Like, that, I didn't have an option. Like, I had to come back to China, like, staying at my home in America, like, that wasn't gonna happen. So I got on a plane, and how I got around was I had this lovely boot. I think in America that's pretty standard. If you break your foot or your ankle, you get the boot. Boot goes on the foot, and I was told you can take it off when you shower. And to shower, since I couldn't stand on it, I was just kind of like a flamingo, like tuck the foot up while in the shower and while you sleep. But if I was just hanging out at the house, or if I had to go out, I would put the boot on and my foot was protected. And to get around, I am not sure if you can see it, so I guess I'll just pick it up. Yeah. We have the scooter. My lovely scooter that we bought in Hawaii off of Craigslist for $100, and that's how I got around. And when I came to China, when we went to the newer hospital, because the old one with the cloth doors didn't have an x-ray machine, I had to get my foot x-rayed so my work would give me time off. And the doctor was like, what is that? In reference to the scooter and in reference to the boot, because he'd never seen a boot like that before. And I'm like, oh, in America, that's pretty common. If you hurt yourself, like, they give that to you. That's just how it works. And he was looking at it. He was asking me, where did you get this? How much was it? This is really cool. Like, this is really super useful. Where can I get some? And I was like, I don't know, man. The tag says made in China, so it came from here. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I don't know what to tell you. But I got my foot x-rayed, and they said you have to stay off it for 6 weeks, so my work was pretty cool about that. And I didn't think it was good to stay in my house, so I said, if you can help me get up the stairs, because to my work there's stairs, and then you go in the building, and I don't know why they do this, But Monday through Friday, the elevator works, so that was totally fine. But on Saturday and Sunday, the elevator's not in service. Again, don't ask me why they do that. I don't know. And there was no way I could get up 3 flights of stairs with a broken foot. So on Saturday and Sunday, I would just hang out here, which was kind of nice, not gonna lie. But with the scooter, like, they would help me get the scooter up the stairs and then help me with the elevator, and that was fine. But the buses were not accessible at all. So for 6 weeks, if it was not within like scooting distance of my house, I didn't go there. So if you're planning a trip to China, I don't know if it would be different in Beijing, but you might want to rethink that because it's not wheelchair accessible. Luckily, and I mean luckily, not all apartments have this. To get into my apartment, there's stairs and a wheelchair ramp, but if I didn't have that, yeah, I probably would have just been like under house arrest. And like just getting around, there weren't ramps everywhere, so you had to kind of plan accordingly where you were gonna go, and I found it frustrating if I had to get upstairs and nobody was there to help me. Like, just a lot of shops, they'll just have like 2 little steps that you have to go up to get in. No wheelchair ramp, but my other foot wasn't broken, so I could kind of like flamingo it up, and tons of people would just stare at me, and I'm like, your kids, when I teach, like, your kids are always like, teacher, like, I help you, teacher, I do this, and I'm like, oh, you guys are great, hopefully when you grow up you'll be different. But they just kind of stare. I can count on one hand the number of people that helped me. And even at the airport, like, so this is not just a small town attitude, this was at the Beijing airport. I wanted to get into a shop and there was a step and I couldn't get into it. And I know in America what would have happened was the employees would have come out and been like, oh, like, let me help you get up the stairs. Or they would have said, hey, what do you want to look at? And I can bring it out for you to look at. No, they stared at me and I actually fell off the scooter and I said a lot of curse words and I scooted away. I'm like, no, I'm not going to give you my business if you can't be bothered to like help your customer get up the stairs. Like, yeah, whatever. So yeah, in small town China, there's not a whole lot of wheelchair or handicapped accessibility. And I guess just to compare that, I went to Pearl Harbor when I was in Hawaii because I'm like, even though I'm hurt, I'm in Hawaii. I'm not going to like let this ruin my trip. And we went to the Pearl Harbor Memorial, and I do understand that they might be more equipped to deal with veterans because that's kind of their target audience. So they have a lot more facilities. And even just at like the restaurants and at the stores in America, it's a lot more accessible. I was not prepared for when I came here, and I think the muscles in my one leg that I was flamingoing on and like pushing off of are a lot stronger now. And that's just what I've noticed about wheelchairs and stuff like that. And again, I'm really thankful that this was not a permanent thing. I can walk around now. If I walk for a long time, it still hurts, but I've heard it can take like a year for bones to heal, so I'm not super worried about it. The other thing is for mental health care, I do have depression and PTSD, and no, I'm not self-diagnosed. I've been to the hospital. I've seen multiple doctors, and they all came to that conclusion. So yeah, like, I'm very diagnosed, and I do need my medication, and I need to get it here. And when I first came here, I took like the pill bottle to the hospital, and like they're like, oh, okay, like, why do you take this? And I'm like, cause if I don't, I think about really, really bad, scary things, and I can't like get them out of my head, and I have nightmares when I sleep, and it's just not good. I need to take them. And they're like, oh, okay. So they gave me like my fluoxetine. I take 20 milligrams of fluoxetine every day, and they somehow forgot the next time I went, and they didn't know what it was, and it was a whole big loop to go around, like this whole loop of like, oh, ask this person, oh, ask this person, oh, I don't know, ask this person. Well, they told me to ask you, and the loop. So now I always bring the box. So this is my neat little box every time, and they like kind of will argue with me that I don't need it. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. The doctor that I talk to on a fairly regular basis, he's pretty reasonable about it, but he normally will say something like, oh, you've been taking this for a long time. Do you still need it? Yes. Okay. But this, oh my God, this made me so mad. This one time I was talking to him, and this other lady doctor came in, and I'd never seen her before. I'd never talked to her before, and she asked him why I was there, and he said because of that. And she just says, "Oh, you've been taking that for a long time. So, like, I think you should stop taking that." And I'm like, "No. Like, you don't know me. You just met me a minute ago. You don't know my backstory. You don't know my symptoms. You don't know, like, anything." And she's like, "Oh, well, we have another doctor coming from Xi'an next week, so you should come in and we can switch your medication." And I know it's an American thing to say, "Oh, if it's not broke, don't fix it." Yeah, if it's not broke, don't fix it. This is fine. I've been taking depression meds since I was 19. I'm 25 now, and it took probably like 3 years to get it sorted out. If it's not broke, don't fix it. And she just kept saying, "Oh, you should come in when this other doctor's here and we can get it changed. We can get it changed." And I finally just said, "Yeah, okay, I'll think about it." No, like, yeah, I thought about it and I'm not coming in. So that's something that they really, like, have an issue with. And I thought it was weird when he said, "You've been taking this for a long time." At that time, I'm like, I've only been in Bauji a year, and I had 6 weeks worth of pills when I got here, so you can minus like a month off of that. And what I was told about medication for mental health stuff in America is it takes 6 weeks to fully get into your system, and then it takes like 2 months for you to get used to it to decide if you like it. So, like, don't say you don't like something without giving it like 3 months. And I just thought it was weird that they said, "Oh, you've been taking this for a long time," because I'm doing the math in my head. And I'm like, okay, so like 2 or 3 months to get used to it. And then I know if you just quit taking them cold turkey, that's really, really bad. You need to like wean yourself off of them slowly, and you need to talk to your doctor about it. So I don't know how long they expect people to take medication here, and I just think it's not what it is in America, and it's not understood. So if you're coming to work here, be sure you have somebody that you can see and get your medication, and they're not going to try and argue with you about it. And I know in the Chinese culture, saving face is a big deal, and mental health stuff is kind of like a loss of face, but it's like, I'm white, that doesn't count. I don't care about face. I don't care what you think. I do know that I need my medication, and I'm not leaving here until I get it. So if you have a problem like being assertive, or if you just don't want to do that, maybe coming to China is not the thing for you. If you're just coming for a vacation, like, they're not gonna care if you bring your own. Like, I brought my own on the plane and it wasn't a big deal, and obviously it was prescribed to me. It's my medication, I need it. So yeah, you just might want to think about that before you come here. If it's a physical thing, like when I broke my foot, like, they were super accommodating. My work was like, oh, and they were even surprised that I showed up there, because I guess in China, if you break a bone, you are confined to your bed for 100 days. And I'm like, no, like, that's boring, and I need the money, so we're gonna go to work. And everybody's just like, "How are you doing that?" And I'm like, "You just do it." So, like, that's not a big deal. I could have milked that really, really bad if I wanted to, but I'm just not like that. But with mental stuff, which is just as real as like a physical thing, you wouldn't tell somebody who is diabetic, "Oh, like, you've been taking insulin for a long time, I don't think you need it anymore." No. They don't view it as like a sickness that you need medicine for. They view it as like a weak thing, which it's totally not. So that's just something you might want to think about before coming here. Okay, that's really about it. I guess, like, I haven't had many medical problems, and I'm really thankful for that. So no more cliffs, and I'll just keep taking my pills. Okay, if you have any other questions about China, go ahead and ask me. I'll check maybe like once a day, and I'll try to get back to you right away. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Have a good day. Bye.